can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm caught in the middle of life, and I
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Red Pill Diaries, a Patreon and channel member exclusive. We've been having technical difficulties trying to get the thing to stream on Patreon. So what we'll do as we stream live, as soon as the show ends, we'll then post it to Patreon. They're cutting the links. They're doing everything they can. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but if you go back and look, my show went over 6,000 subscribers about 5 or 6 times, and now I'm down to 5.91. You tell me how math brings that to be. You tell me how adding up leads to being down. I have no idea. But I want to thank YouTube, and I want to thank all of the platforms that allow me to stream, whether they give me the real numbers or not, because this is a blessing to be able to do this. So I can't really get mad, okay? And if I did, who cares? So let's look at this. It's a blessing to be alive. It's a blessing to be here today. And it's a blessing to talk about the change of worlds, because that's where we are right now. We're in the midst of the change of worlds. There's a new paradigm, a paradigm shift underway. And a lot of people are unaware that this shift is underway. People think that they'll be able to return to the old, that things will pan out the way they used to be, but they don't understand that time is against that. Right? And there's an old saying that when your time comes, you can't stay behind. Right? So if we look into the history of things, and we're going to bring this all up with the news and stuff. If we look at the history of empires, of nations, of people, when they have ruled, when they've been in power, and even as they had a resolute rule or something like this, it came to an end, right? America, the UK, and the Western world are no different. There are no exception to that rule. For the past 500 or 600 years, they have ruled dominantly, right? Because they've had the military and the economic will, and they fleeced other people out to put themselves in a more dominant position. But all of that is crumbling now, and we see that, so desperation is setting in. I notice now that a lot of people are talking about the time, and they should be, but it started here, because there's no better subject to talk about when we're looking at the war in Ukraine, the burning of Yemen, the almost dissolution of Syria, the attacks by Israel, right? The genocidal acts of Israel against Palestinians, the U.S. hegemonic position in Latin and Central America, the U.S. moves in Central Asia and West Asia, the coming war with Iran, the conflict between America and China, and the weakening of America's military arm, which is NATO. All of that has to do with the time. There was a time when America was without peer, without rival, because she enjoyed economic dominance. She enjoyed the world reserve currency. She enjoyed being the largest manufacturer in the world, the largest exporter in the world, the largest importer in the world. She dominated in the fields of science and mathematics. She had a a somewhat good educational system. She had currency reserves, and most of the nations around the world were indebted to her. But if we fast forward up to today, we can see a desperate, angry power, because those things are no longer the case. In almost every area that I just named, America is no longer the dominant power. She no longer has that wiggle room. The only thing that she still has is the World reserve currency, which is the life's blood of not only the American Empire and the British Empire, but it's the life's blood of the Western world and their so-called rules-based order, which is dying a natural death. So I want to bring something to your mind, okay? Because we have to give the people a true understanding of what is going on, all right? I want to bring something up to you guys so that you know that we got some videos now from almost a year ago and a little bit before that from the Red Pill Diaries. We're going to put some clips in there to show you that we were speaking about the matters that everybody else is speaking about now. And we were telling you these things. We're trendsetters. We're trailblazers. Because we have a better insight, because some of them view it from their personal thoughts of what they would like it to be. Some view it from being inside of governments at a point in their lives. Some are lawyers, some have connections, major connections, but we view it from facts and history and time and prophecy. So this gives us a leg up on almost everybody. All right. So listen, let's go to something real quick. All right. Because the hypocrisy in this is absolutely it's amazing. Okay. So I have to bring something to your mind. Okay. Let's see something. Where is it at? Everybody, it is so unreal. When I read this, I said, are you kidding me? Are you flipping kidding me? Let's see where we go. Where is it at? Are you going to do that to us right now? Huh? You're going to freeze the screens right now. It's unreal. You're going to freeze the screens right now. My internet connection is excellent, it says right here on the screen. And I can show anybody that's watching. So it's not my internet. Oh, boy, I tell you what. Anyway, here's one thing that I want to point out to you guys. The press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, has warned Beijing. This was April 12th, okay? Warned Beijing of consequences it takes further to increase. I want something up to you. All right, here we are right here. Now, all righty then. So, with this warning, pay close attention to this. You know how we do things. We like to break stuff down to give you a good understanding of what is actually going on, okay? All right, let's see right here. For some reason, I'm not being sent to the page. Excellent connection, everybody. Excellent. Nothing was bothered. Nothing was acting up until we went live. You tell me the odds of that. But one pony won't stop the horse show, okay? So according to the dictionary, the word consequence is a noun. It means a result or effect of an action or condition. Result, upshot, outcome, outturn, sequel, effect, reaction. The press secretary says that China, in essence, is warned not to react to America slapping China in the face. Because if China defends itself, because remember, we went through the definitions before. So if China responds, it's not escalation. It's retaliation becoming even. It's on the streets, and even swap is not a swindle, right? If you hit me and I hit you and we let it go, that's good. But to hit everybody she wants, she tells the whole world, listen, we're going to sanction you. We're going to hit your trade. We're going to we'll hit everything. But don't you respond. Because if you respond, then that's escalation. That is the mind of a lunatic. Look, when God created the heaven and the earth, he put in the first law, the basic law, which rules everything, which governs the entirety of the universe, even to this very moment right now. And that one law was self-preservation, right? Self-preservation is the first law of nature, right? Self-preservation is the first law of nature. No, America is telling you to nullify. Don't defend yourself. Don't defend the rights of your government. Don't defend the rights of your people. Don't defend your sovereignty. Don't defend your trade. Don't defend anything. Stand up and let me smack you, kick you, and spit in your face. And if you allow me to do that and have my way, it won't escalate. These are not only to China, but to the entire world. Do you see regular for the layman person on the street? Do you see how ludicrous and how outrageous that sounds? I'm going to walk up. I'm going to prevent you from trading with your next door neighbor. I'm going to prevent you from selling your goods. I'm going to tax you on anything you bring to me, but don't you tax me when I bring stuff to you. And if you tax me, then, hey, we're going to escalate this thing. If you try to prevent me from doing what I'm doing to you, we're going to. That is the mind of a bully. If we were looking at it through the schoolyard, you would call bully. You would call Trump a bully. You would call the policy evoking and trying to push on. But somehow, when we're dealing with this president or president, and when we're dealing with America, those basic features, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So let me go to something real quick, okay? I saw something earlier. Where is it at? Where, on what page is it on? Hold on, everybody. Because when I read the little thing on here, it blew my mind. Beijing, where is it at? Hold on, everybody. Because this is live. Is this the one? I think. Hold on. Oh, yeah. These people are absolutely crazy. I can't understand why people would follow this, right? I for the life of me, I cannot understand why people would just take this the way it is. Before I read this clip to you guys, all right, I want to play something for you, okay? I really want to play something for you guys. And it's from my one of my previous interviews, and I want you to listen to this. I was listening to this clip right before we started the show, and it has everything to do with what's going on right now. As a matter of fact, there are two specific clips. I'll play closer to this clip. This is from, I believe, Tariq, the journalist, and I've had him on the show several times. And I want you to listen to the conversation that he and I had, okay? Be patient and just listen. And watch what you get out of this, okay? Pay close. Did I bring it up on the screen? Because I'm not seeing it on my screen. Okay. StreamYard, you're playing games. Everybody, hold on one second. There you go. You can see it. All right. So now, give me 1 second. All right. Give me 1 second to play it. I want you to pay close attention to this. And I'm going to black my face and let you just listen to this. Pie in the sky. Because there's such a well-oiled cog of a machine behind the scenes that continues to prevent any meaningful policy changes towards Russia, China, or the global South. The Ukrainian conflict, especially now because you have Trump in office, and then you have the front lines collapsing everywhere.
Yeah, it's an extremely it's an extremely important question right now, and like you, a lot of people are asking it, and I myself too, and I don't know if anybody has like a convincing, conclusive answer at this point. I see your point. Your point is that there is such a structure established, especially in foreign policy in the United States, call it the blob or the foreign policy deep state or whatever, or just a bureaucracy, that what the president wants ultimately is not really that relevant, right? They will finally somehow absorb that. That's possible, said during the campaign. He will make some moves about finding a compromise with Russia, but will not do so resolutely enough or the Russians a reasonable deal. And then it will go down and, not be talked about again, except the Russians will be blamed for it failing. That's one possibility. Now, I'm not sure we can predict that. And I'm telling you why, because I think you are totally right that there is a structure there that is unrelentingly aggressive, right, in terms of pursuing what they think are the national interests of the United States, but usually they're mistaken about those. But they're always very aggressive. But it could be that actually genuinely decided that while they want to be very aggressive, Russia isn't the right target, right? Not because they like peace, not because they want to be fairer, not because they want to actually build a good relationship, but because, most of all, they think that they have to concentrate their aggression on China.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are even still, I'm amazed by this, but they're still dreaming that they can somehow perhaps drive a wedge between Russia and China again, right? And so that play would be try to make a compromise with the Russians, settle that conflict, actually do change policy there, but then somehow also try to unglue the de facto alliance between Russia and China. Russia and China don't call it an alliance, but it is a de facto alliance. Those people might also be important. I personally think that we'll only know within maybe 3 to 6 months. At some point then, we'll be able to tell what Trump really wants and whether he actually matters and whether what he wants matters very much. The other thing with Trump is, I have to say, people shouldn't overestimate him personally, right? And I don't say this ironically or just to sort of tear him down, but he's also just not very good at a lot of things. And for instance, he thinks he is, I know, but he isn't actually. It's not true. And he's not good at understanding other countries and other cultures, not at all. And I don't mean this even in the sense of he's not sensitive. Of course he's not sensitive. He's incredibly proud of that, right? I mean it in the sense intellectually, he has a very weak grasp of who he's actually dealing with on the other side. I think he has this intuitive respect for Putin. I think that's genuine. But today he tweeted something, he posted something on X that really made me wonder because it was so ill-conceived. It was basically this long post that says, we have to end this conflict, something has to happen, I respect Russia, I respect Putin personally, the Russians helped us win World War II, and because of all of this, I'm ready to do them a favor. That's the word he used, favor, right? And I'm basically telling them that we can wrap this up now, right? You can come to the table and wrap this up with me and have a deal, or everything will get much worse. And back he was to threatening them, once again, with sanctions and with tariffs. And my sense is that Trump has no idea how Russians react to something like that. And it's very easy to predict. They really don't like it to be talked to in this term, especially not from Americans. That is bringing out every fiber of resistance in their body politic. And if you don't believe me, I've just watched, actually, in the last half hour, their most popular political talk show, 60 Minutes. They also have a 60 Minutes, actually. And they were talking about this post forever, like for 20 minutes and more. And they were shredding it. And they were laughing at him saying that the Russians helped, so the Soviets, right? That they helped the US. Because the Russians know that in Europe, they won the war, right? Mm-hmm. If they want to be generous, they can say the Americans helped us win the war in Europe, right? Mm-hmm. Not Asia. That's a different story. So they were laughing about this, and not in a good way. Then they picked up on the word favor, and they translated, oh, yeah, really? You think you can do us a favor, right? Oh, let's see about that, right? So he just makes them wild that way for very understandable reasons. And if he goes into trying to now deal with Russia in this way, he's gonna get nowhere. They're fighting this war, right or wrong, because they've made up their mind. They're not going to take, I'm gonna say it, shit from the US anymore. And if he starts with the arm twisting, and if he starts with the public arm twisting, right? That's really bad. That's not a minor thing for them. Look, behind closed doors, right? Politics can be hard. And if it came to negotiations and he brings his people and Putin brings his people, yeah, these people will have very strong exchanges, right? And they will set conditions to each other and they'll haggle. But you don't do this on a post. It actually matters. And that he did it shows me that he doesn't know where he is. And clearly he still hasn't got good advisors.
So, hold on one second, everybody. So listen, everybody. I played that clip for a specific reason. And let me stop the screen on this clip. Let's get it off of here. Ooh, okay. So I played that clip for a specific reason to show you that a lot of people, they continue to give Trump this long line of political credit. Well, Trump is positioning himself for this, and Trump is the maker of the art of the deal, and he's doing. Clearly, the man has shown you a track record in negotiations. In real estate, maybe he's probably good, but in politics and geopolitics, he's shown himself to be lacking, and that's being kind. Okay. As the title of that video said, they want to pacify Russia and then go to war with China. But before they can truly go to war with China, they got to subjugate Iran. This is the pattern that they're using. This is something that was drawn up by, it wasn't drawn up by the president that preceded Trump or before. This is a continuation of policies of the deep state. This is something that you've got to understand. So they're looking for China. They're looking to pacify Russia, right? But they only want to go so far to pacify Russia. You hear America say, well, we'll negotiate and we'll do this and we'll do that, but we're not parties to the war. Then what the hell are you negotiating for? Well, we can't bring Kyiv to yield and Kyiv will never accept this. Then why are you involved in? If they won't accept this and you say this is good, then move out of the way and let them feel the brunt or the consequences of their rejection of something that even you thought was good. This is kabuki theater. And what they're trying to do is pacify the Russians to build up goodwill with the Russians and to build up goodwill and political capital. Because remember, the U.S. has spent all its political capital so that they can then justify going to war with Iran. They're building up political capital with Russia with this so-called, every day you're hearing them talk oh, we're negotiating and we're this and we're that, or we'll walk away. We told you on one of the platforms that this would be the outcome when they start losing and when things don't go their way. They would just go look at the show. We told you that, we'll walk away. That's America. And at the same time, listen to this. Listen to this. Let's get this together. Before the world, they're presenting themselves as the honest broker for war. I mean, to bring the war to a close when all they have to do is cut off the money, the weapons, and the political cover. Right? Three things. If they truly wanted to bring the war to a halt, three things that they could do immediately that would bring the war to a halt very soon. Cut off the money, the weapons, and the political cover that they have given them. And guess what happens? The war ends soon. But America doesn't really want it to end because of the war manufacturers that are making profit off weapons sales. All of these soldiers of fortunes that go in there, and if they're allowed to come back without being in a body bag, they make a nice amount. So it's profit over lives. Trump talks about all of these people are dying. They need to stop this. Yet he's bombing Yemen. The military capacity of Yemen does not come close to the entirety of NATO arming Ukraine, and yet you're screaming about the deaths of Ukraine, and yet at the same time you're bombing Ukraine. But all of this is a kabuki theater. You're building up capital here, and remember what the magician does when he has you looking over here? He's hiding something over there. And what is he trying to hide over there? This mass slaughter that is going on daily by the Israelis against the Palestinians, against the Syrians, and against the Lebanese on a daily basis. So as the media is fixated on the crumbling lines, remember they would never, before this deposing of Assad, before the overthrow of his government, right? And Israel infringing upon Syrian territory. They were not talking about, the Western media did not publish, and it was taboo to say something about the collapsing of the front lines of the Ukrainian armed forces. But now you get a daily dose of that constantly. All you hear in the media now is about sanctioning China, trying to come to some type of agreement with Russia over Ukraine, right? And so-called a nuclear negotiation with Iran. This serves the empire well. It puts in people's mind that, hey, Trump is trying to sue for peace while he's still arming and funding the Ukrainian government. Well, he'll stop that. He's just letting what Joe Biden appropriated come through. He can stop that. He's the president. With one executive order, he can bring that money to a halt. Those weapons to a halt. So give me another excuse. What do they tell you? Excuses are like what? But because everybody has one. Give me another excuse. This is to put on a peaceful face to say Trump is trying his best to negotiate. And look at him over with Iran. He's trying his best to negotiate with Iran. And while everybody's looking there, America continues to drop cargo planes full of weapons in occupied Palestine, which is Israel. They continue to give intelligence and upgrade the weapon systems of Israel against the Palestinians, against the Lebanese, against the Syrians, and eventually against Iran. All of this stuff is kabuki theater. It is Walt Disney with them. The empire is playing for political capital because it is bankrupt politically when it comes to capital. You've got to understand that. And so to get their big fish, the one that they're really after, they have to weaken Iran. And how do you weaken Iran? First of all, you present yourself as a person that truly wants peace. If Iran does this, and this, then we'll do this, this, and this. Iran has heard those promises throughout. As a matter of fact, as the only verified observer without breaching the JCPOA, which is Iran, they are now under sanctions again for not breaching the very deal that Trump breached and walked out of. How is that for? What about all of these treaties that the U.S. walked away from under Trump, Obama, and Biden? And you want the world to believe that you're an honest broker? Stop playing with people's intelligence. All of this, the decapitation of Hezbollah, the overthrow of the Syrian resistance or the legitimate authorities of Syria under Assad, the decapitation strikes and the slaughter, the mass slaughter of the Palestinians in Gaza and in the West Bank. And then the United States bombing the Yemeni people on a daily basis. You know what that is for? And bombing Somalia. That is to weaken the axis of resistance so that the United States and Israel can eventually strike Iran. That's what that's about. Let's go to something. All right. I got something. Let's see about this one here. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right. I got, oh man, it's getting ready to start talking. I don't want it to start talking yet. Hold on, I want to bring something up on your screen, and in just a few minutes, I want to make sure. Okay, give me 1 second, everybody. All right, stop right here. Let me bring this up on the screen. Okay, that is the right video. So give me a second. I had to check it first. Okay, so I'm gonna play this, and YouTube and StreamYard, man, you guys keep playing these tricks, but thank you for allowing me to use your platform. I keep seeing how you're doing with my streamers. I keep seeing it. It's okay though. We're gonna keep pushing though. We're gonna push right through this. Let me bring something up on the screen for you guys. Let's see. Share screen. Share screen. All right. Here we are. This should be coming up on the screen in a second. I want you to pay close attention to this clip here, all right, that we're going to bring up on the screen. It's very important that you listen to everything that I'm trying to play to you guys because it fills in a lot of the dots, okay? It fills in a lot of the dots. And I want you to, we're getting ready, this is with journalist Tariq Amar, okay? Tariq Cyril Lamar. And I want you to listen to this, all right? Here we are.
Well, you know, I don't put much stock in any president changing U.S. policy. I think it's a continuation in his term. He was the one who sent the arms. Obama started it. Trump doubled down and sent the arms to Ukraine and funded the training for these same mercenaries. And then Joe Biden doubled and tripled down on what Trump did. So, and I don't believe that the deep state would allow for a drastic change in U.S. Domestic. Believe that America has the inherent right to dominate everybody and everything. And the only way that you see it look like a pause or look like a change in policy is when they want to pause, move to that other thing. And that other thing I'm talking about is China. What is your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people, they're putting a lot of stock
Oh, come on, StreamYard. This is really getting on my nerves now. We're doing a live stream, and this is what we have to go through to get the show out. Let me pull up something for you guys and show you guys. We're I wish I could turn it this way and let you see. It says we have excellent connection. My dashboard is messing up. I want to apologize. We're going to make up for this because this is crazy here. This is crazy. We're going to bring this to a conclusion. Excuse me, a conclusion. We're going to try to do another show later on for everybody. This really has pissed me off right now. I mean, I pay for StreamYard, got the biggest package that they have, and this is what I get in return. I've upgraded all of my systems, all of my programs. I've got new computers and everything. We have test runs before we do the show. Everything is fine and dandy. We do the show. We're buffering. We're disconnected. All of this stuff. This is absolutely insane. You know, just to tell the truth, you would think that we're on. We have 600,000 or 700,000 subscribers. The way that they continue to mess with this show. I was just looking at down on my phone. I got an alert. And so I looked on the main dashboard. Remember, I told you the show went over 6,000 subscribers multiple times. To show you what they're doing with the thing now, I'm going to show you on live, okay? Okay. Let me take this picture. All right, take this picture. I'm going to show you something. To show you how many subscribers they continue to steal from me, I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to show it to you. I hope that it plays, that it shows, because sometimes with the background, it won't do it. You know what? I may be able to send this to myself and show it to you guys. Regardless, give me a sec. Let me play a clip for you, a short clip, and then I'm going to be working on showing you exactly what they've done, okay? To show you that this stuff is not made up. It's like they don't want this show out there. Even for the channel members and the patrons. It's crazy. But let me play a short clip. Then I'll be back. Let's see. After this, let me find one for you guys. This is crazy, right? All right.
Also, President Trump is warning countries against cheating to get around his tariffs. But China may be taking steps to interfere with trade talks between the U.S. and other nations. What is going on? Grady Trimble of Fox Business live at the White House. Hey, Grady.
Hey, good morning, Dana. China says that if the U.S. makes any deals at the expense of China, then it's going to, quote, take countermeasures in a reciprocal manner. And some experts are warning that Beijing could try to strike deals with European countries, for example, that are too good for those countries to refuse at the expense of the United States. But President Trump doesn't seem deterred from his plan, posting on Truth Social about the countries trying to reach agreements with his administration, saying, "It's good to see that the world knows we are serious, because we are. They must right the wrongs of decades of abuse, but it won't be easy for them. But for those who want the easiest path, come to America and build in America."
I got a readout from Jameson Greer yesterday, and it looks like we're north of 15 now of legitimate, serious offers on the table. The thing I could say you could look for is that when we think a deal's really, really close, then my expectation is the president's going to want to meet with that world leader here in the White House in order to close the deal.
So we will be paying very close attention to which world leaders are coming to the White House in the not too distant future. And here's what the Trump administration is trying to address, or at least cut into: a $300 billion trade deficit with China. Administration officials say despite that number, the U.S. actually has the upper hand.
China imports 11.5 million barrels of oil a day. They import about 25% of the calories they consume every day. And so when we think about the U.S. and us as being a superpower, we're an energy superpower, we're a food superpower, and China is highly dependent.
And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who has been one of the leads in negotiating these new trade deals, he's meeting with his South Korean counterpart this week, I believe, here at the White House. So the wheeling and dealing continues despite these new warnings from China. Dana?
Grady, thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Here, we're back to this. Let me see if I can pull it up because I'm having problems trying to do it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. As a matter of fact, why is my screen so small? Go back to this. Hold on one second, everybody. They are playing tricks with my screen. I got to double check my microphone to make sure everything is okay. YouTube and Patreon are working together for this. But let me see if I can put, hold on, I had it sideways. Look at this. If I hold it sideways, you may be able to see it. Look at that. You see that? Hold on, let me see. They brought me back down from over 6,000 to 5,917 in a matter of a couple days. To show you I'm not making this stuff up. I'm so pissed right now. I'm gonna have to do a double makeup with this, and I'm gonna play this clip again on the next show because I want to address something that is going on in the news that is very, very pertinent. And I must be very honest with you guys. Right now, StreamYard has gotten me so pissed. It's unreal. It's unreal. Because of the games that they play. The games that they're playing with me. And I just don't like that. And you guys see it in real time. So we're gonna have to make this up with a live or something like this. And then there'll be some articles drop. I got some pertinent news coming out about what's going on with China and Egypt. We already know that the Chinese deployed their J-10s over there, the J-10 fighter jets over there, right, for war games. But it's something much, much more and much greater than that is going on that I've got to tell you about, okay? That a lot of people, they don't want to inform you about this, but I'm going to inform you. And I may do it in an article, or I may get back on and do it in a little short stream. But we were rocking and rolling until they start messing with the stream and delaying me and knocking me off or whatever like that. And it kind of like took the vibe out. And usually I play through it, but this was only meant to be a 30-40 minute stream anyhow. And we're going to just double back on this. Everybody, please hit the like button. I know it's not likable, but please hit the like button because of what they are doing. It's unflipping real. It's unreal. But I'm going to go out this way, and I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me your time, man. I really appreciate it, and I apologize again. But I have no control over the stuff that they do. I can only pay for the programs, pay for the computer, pay for the services, and then do my job and pray that it goes right. And I've done everything, and they continue to try to hinder the platform. But we're going to keep pushing and we're going to keep moving. I want to thank every one of you for joining me on the most powerful platform for truth on God's earth. You see, it's the most powerful platform. You see what they're doing to us. So check us out later, and we'll be trying to do another stream, man. God bless each and every one of you. We go out the same way we came in. We're loving our hearts for each and every one of you all. We're out of here. Thank you so much. Peace.